Hey there guys, and welcome back to another one of my videos. I've got a pile of stuff that arrived the other day and I want to unbox it for you guys before I go outside and toss this in the water. So this came in a bigger box, but for convenience I am just gonna I already took it out of one of the boxes, so we have a windmill mount up on top here and a hand crank for the generator. Next we have, this is the WaterLily, and it's the WaterLily and / WindLily kit. So let's get this pop open. I'll get some parts out of here. Here you go. And inside we get a thank you for purchase. They always say that. We have, of course, the main object, which is the WaterLily, and it comes with an extension cord here, or it's rather like a tie-off cord. It's supposed to be like a Spectra cord of sorts. Then it comes with the 12 volt to USB converter, a bit of Velcro. You can never have too much Velcro. Let's get rid of this box. And here is the WaterLily itself. Now, one of the things that I keep seeing people are in doubt of, this thing is supposed to face the water flow into the opening. Strangely, but I understand why, as it creates turbulence, but the grid is actually supposed to be in the back side. My original thought was that this probably was in the front to protect the prop from all kinds of floating stuff, but it's not. You can also see that the prop here is scalloped. It's not a prop really, it's called a turbine in this application. And so here comes with 4 wires like this. And since I have a sailboat, you can toss it after your boat. Now, one of the questions, and I see people charging these little teeny things. Personally, I'm going to use one of these. It's a 20,000 milliamp battery. So this one can actually run my laptop, my PowerBook Pro, for a couple of hours. And the measurements I see is that it's charging with about 15 watts. So it's like a medium-sized iPhone charger. Not the original one, but it's slightly larger than the original iPhone charger is the power you actually get out of that. That's another reason to don't use a small power brick. Use a fairly beefy one, because if you leave it out there for all night, all day, once the brick is full, you're not actually getting any more power. Now, looking at this thing here, the beautiful thing about the WaterLily is there's no moving parts except for one. That's the center itself. Outside in the yellow ring here is glued a whole bunch of small magnets, and then out in this one here is all the coils, but they're fairly fine coils. There's no cocking like normally you can feel it, something like this. It will have like click, 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 click. It does not. It's a smooth rotation here with very little force to start it. That means you're not getting a lot of amp, but you are getting voltage right away, and probably fairly high voltage, so it should be able to deliver the 12 volts to charge a battery, which is, and I believe I've seen people getting 14 and 17 volts out of the pins here, which is perfect. So what we're going to do is we're of course going to toss this off the back of the boat, and we're going to see how it works. You can feel there's a lot of weight in this rotator, so once it starts moving, it's definitely moving. You don't want to get your fingers in it. And my boat typically travels at 5 to sometimes 7 miles or knots. So from what other people have shown, they were able to get quite good charging. So I expect to get the 10-15 watts out of this and be able to start dumping some power into this brick. That's excellent, because I also use this brick to power my iPad, which I use for navigation. So being able to charge that is really in its own right a very useful step. This one here, the other thing is, there's a lot of people, this was a Kickstarter a couple of years back, and it's already about 3-4 years old, but they're still taking pre-orders. I ordered mine in December and I got it in April, so it was about 4 months from order till delivery. And so they're basically still selling out each of the new batches. On the upside, as I said, this has been around, I think, since 2017. And there's not a lot of reports of these things going bad. So it's actually a fairly, I don't think we have to test it for durability. A lot of people have already been using this for quite a few years. And it's a very specific gadget. I would not recommend it for backpacking. It would be so-so behind a kayak, but behind my boat at 5 knots, it should be cooking. Let's see what the wind accessory is. Oh, look at this. It comes with a drawstring bag. WaterLily. And they implore us to read the user manual. That's always good. So, the way this works is fairly simple. This wheel here, we unscrew it, and then we can put these wings into this wheel. And the wheel, see these 3 holes here? So this wheel fits down on top of the propeller, whatever. And we go on the back side and we install 3 screws here. And those 3 screws are gonna hold that in place, and it basically spins this. Because this only there's no gearing or anything, it's just another way to keep it rolling. So this comes with the 3 screws to hold it in place. It's a good thing to have. Yet more Velcro. Empty box. And 6 blades. Again, these are nicely scalloped. You can see it right there. So they're steeper at the center, flatter outside here, because as the wind hits it, you want to get the same amount of work out of all surfaces. This is thick. I was afraid it was going to be flimsy, but this is like a flexible plastic. I feel very good about this. How does this work? Oh, look at that. It unscrews like that. So these ones just comes up. And by the way, all the videos from the creators, those videos are all coming from Canada with snow and ice. And I gotta tell you, just seeing these parts here, I am much more impressed with the build than I expected to be. So now I have clicked these in place, and they basically stay by themselves because they hold themselves into that, and then they fall down by gravity, and I stick the twist on lid back on, and I don't think this is gonna unscrew itself. The last thing to do is put it on top of this one and put the 3 mounting screws in from the back side. I think I'm gonna be buying some spare mounting screws, because you know, if I drop one of those, I am screwed. And I don't want to be that. So, but this is pretty nice. It should work in fairly low wind. Again, I don't think this is for high winds or high speeds in the water, but I think it's going to work great at a low wind. And I'm really impressed. This is as heavy as a brick. It's very nicely built. Up here, if you look at the cable real quickly, on the cable here is a fuse. This is the converter. So this here gets us, this smooths out the power, I suppose. And here we're getting 12 volt. See, this is the standard 12 volt solar power panel. Solar power panel plug is what I wanted to say. And here we have, there. So there's a waterproof cap, which once this is in water, we don't want this in water. And then this can attach here for my purpose today, where I intend to charge this thing from this. So I'm gonna need the converter, and that then takes the 12 volts, turns it into 5 volts and about 15 watts worth of juice. So that's it. Stay tuned for more of these. And if you have watched this in your VR headset, Leave a comment down the bottom, because I don't see anybody actually watching these things. I'd love to know that you watched it. Also leave some suggestions. What do you want to see more? I did some practicing and I found about an arm's length to the camera, and holding it up about a third of the way is a fairly comfortable and a fairly good way to show the details. And how do you feel about that? I think I've been holding it up too close to the camera actually. So click subscribe, click like, and come back for more boat related VR videos.